Hey, what is up people? This is Johnny. In today's video we're going to be going over 10 inappropriate messages in kids cartoons. Number 10. SpongeBob watches sea porn. Now, a funny episode was when SpongeBob is watching basically these underwater creatures as well, but then Gary starts trying to stare at the screen as well, and then he quickly changes the channel, meaning that he was watching something pretty naughty, which was pretty hilarious. I didn't find it that inappropriate, but of course if you actually see the message, it is clearly indeed the message that they meant for it. Number 9. In an episode in Looney Tunes, Yosemite Sam is tricked to going into jail by Bugs Bunny, and when he goes into his cell, he sees his cellmate, which is pretty weird how he's looking at Yosemite. He knows there's only one bed, and he's there looking at Yosemite Sam in a really awkward way. Number 8. Buffalo Gals. This cow and chicken episode was banned and only aired once. It featured a biker gang named Buffalo Gals, which were all women who were believed to be lesbians. But as it was weird, they started eating the carpet. Carpet munching is a well-known term for cunnilingus. Cartoon Network decided to take this episode off of air, and I would understand why they took it off of air, because it is definitely inappropriate, especially in the messages that you actually see in this episode. How was this even allowed in cartoons in that time? But it only aired once. Number 7. Dexter's Laboratory. There is an episode where the parents are playing Twister, but before they actually show the scene where they're playing Twister, she is talking really weird, like if she was moaning, and then she says, "I don't think that's gonna fit," and their legs is all up in the air. It is pretty obvious they were trying to get a different message through, but then they switched into Twister. Now that is not appropriate at all for children cartoons, and I found it kind of funny, and it was intentional, I think.
Honey, I don't think that's gonna fit.
Just a little more, dear. Got it. See, hon? I told you I could do it.
Number 6. Hey Arnold. His grandpa was actually a hippie during some time in his life, but in this episode Arnold tries to convince his grandpa to go back to school, but he says, "I don't have plenty of brain cells." And then after that he says, "Oh yes you do, grandpa, you have a lot of brain cells." But then he says, "Not because of Woodstock," implying that he did a ton of drugs when he went to the Woodstock festivals.
A grade school diploma. The one thing I've always wanted but never got.
Couldn't you go back to school?
Oh, I can't do that, Arnold. I'm too old. I've lost too many brain cells to make it through grade school.
You're not too old, Grandpa, and you've still got plenty of brain cells.
No, not since Woodstock.
Number 5. Billy and Mandy versus the Martians. In this episode, Mandy rejects taking Erwin's hand as she quotes, "Ew, no way, I know where that hand has been," implying that he masturbates. Knowing that Erwin always flirts with Mandy, anyone can make the reference that she does have a point.
Take my hand!
No, I know where that thing's been.
These could be our life!
Number 4. Powerpuff Girls, the episode Super Friends. When the girls bring over a friend to introduce to the professor, Bubble says he made us in a laboratory by accident. Then their friends say, "Oh, don't worry, Professor, I was an accident too." It's a pretty funny reference how she mentioned that she was an accident as well.
Robin from next door.
Why, hello there, Robin. It's very nice to have you as our new neighbor. I'm the professor.
Yeah, he made us in his laboratory by accident.
Well, what can I say?
Don't worry, Professor. I was an accident too.
Number 3. There is one episode in SpongeBob SquarePants where SpongeBob puts his underwear, but the thing that looks really odd when he puts the underwear in his head is that his nose actually looks like the form of a penis, which is actually really does look like a sexual message, because you can see they probably did this intentionally because his nose is just pointing out like that, which is pretty weird. I don't think they should have done it. The animators knew it was probably going to be a pretty hidden message there. Number 2. Ed, Edd and Eddy. In the episode Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Ed, In this episode, you see nothing out of the normal, but when you start reading the message left in the sticky note scattered in Ed's bathroom, you can clearly see one that says, "Don't touch yourself," implying that he masturbates. So I found this one pretty hilarious, but if you look at it in some way, it is a pretty hidden message that is not supposed to be in a child's cartoon. Number 1. Ed, Edd, and Eddy. The day the Ed stood still. Eddy hides his dirty magazines underneath his bed. In this episode, you see Eddy with a pretty funny face and the magazines under his bed, but you notice the tissues balled up, meaning he may have masturbated, especially with those tissues is a clear indication, and the magazines. As you see his friend's face, it is pretty nervous of what he has down there. Thank you for watching this video, and I know there's many more messages in other cartoons, which I may do another video of this type of series. Also, if you want to check out some of my previous videos, make sure to click on the 2 boxes in the middle to go ahead and check them out.